Welcome back to The Sims 4 Supernatural. This is episode 2, and as you can see, everyone's making very good use of Valerie's cauldron in the back garden. Mac and cheese in it. I feel like this is bringing back lovely memories for Daniel, because he actually used to do this with his mother and father, with his father's cauldron, at their old house, so this is probably quite a nostalgic thing for him, really. Surprisingly, it wasn't actually his idea to do this. Valerie did make this of her own accord. It's very early in the morning. It's like 6 a.m. I think. Everyone's up already. Maybe it's just nerves/excitement of having a full house now. Everyone kind of still unsure about each other, getting to know each other. Valerie's a bit down by the looks of it. She does have the gloomy trait, Valerie. She does have kind of good and bad days, I think, in terms of like her mood. So unfortunately, it seems she's not on the best of terms and in the best of moods this morning. But hopefully, as the day progresses, we can cheer her up a bit. Everyone's now also... Oh, yes, we've still got a bit of a mess there from the fire in the last episode of no one ever cleaned it up. So that's good. I see standards are being kept high, even though Daniel's been here a day. I'm going to get Daniel to do all of this kind of cleaning up stuff. He's like, oh, I'm still new. I want to make sure, I'm looking like I'm doing my part and everything, and I can contribute to keeping the house clean and tidy. But yeah, everyone's kind of still getting to know each other very tentatively. I feel like everyone's going to plan to go and get a drink or something. In my kind of headcanon for The Sims, for the most part, ghosts can control who sees them and when. So I feel like now could even a company go, oh, she's possessed the... She's possessed the mac and cheese cauldron. Who doesn't want to just dive headfirst into a cauldron of mac and cheese, I guess? It's a big mood. But now I felt like she could even accompany people. She's feeling flirty for some reason. Oh yeah, she has the romantic trait. Yeah. That's must be really damn good mac and cheese. But, now could even accompany them if they went out for a drink. And just make sure that they can see her, but everyone else can't, for example. Oh, Valerie's going to cry out in bed. She's not having a good morning, bless her. Kai's just stood there oh, I hope she's okay. Probably hoping oh, I hope she didn't notice that I've broken that tap. But that's fine, we can just replace that. Unless, maybe Nell even possessed that during the night, who can say. Quiet-ish morning, I think everyone's just kind of getting on with it. Some of them are having little conversations. They're also kind of, ooh, what was that? Did you see that little action he just did? I'm sure, if you watched the very end of the last episode, you know a bit about what Jonah's hiding. But of course, he hasn't told the rest of the group that just yet. Are you going to possess this toilet, or are you going to use it? Ghosts need to use toilet, apparently. That's canon. That's strange. Having their own little conversations at times, but also people like Valerie, who's more of a loner, and Kai, keeping themselves to themselves. Oh, now Kai's actually doing some working out as well. Fitness level 2. There you go. Seems everyone's just a big fan of all the new toys in the house, I guess, that Daniel brought with him. And Jonah's playing video games, which is fair. Oh, it's meta. He's playing The Sims. The Sims playing The Sims. Oh, flirting in the hot tub. Damn, Jonah. I mean, maybe we need to get you out and about. Okay. I feel like Nell's kind of fascinated with the idea of working out. She's like, well, just the idea of having to maintain your body seems hilarious to me because I don't have to do it. So I think she's overly enthusiastic and overly interested in it. So I feel like Daniel and Kai are just trying to answer her questions. Kai just dripping with sweat there. I mean, Kai probably doesn't really need to maintain himself either, being a vampire and all. But he's doing so anyway. So yeah, Nell's a very curious person, I would say, asking questions about every single thing. She's probably asking Daniel about, his life growing up, where he came from, what it's like being an alien, stuff like that. Fascinated by that. And I'd say she's posing the same questions to Kai, but he's like, in all due respect, I really don't want to talk about anything like that, if you don't mind. Now, I don't think she quite gets why, but Daniel probably does, and he's like, well, it's fine, we can just talk about other things, and, let's talk about, going out later and getting a drink or getting to know each other. And as you can see, that turned Nell green, because she's very happy about that idea. She's very excited to have some friends. So that's all very well and good. Valerie's still feeling kind of down. What are you going to do on the computer? Play Sims as well. Fair enough. That seems to be a popular game in this household. I feel like they're calling me out, being like, you're playing too much Sims. Anyway, Joan has also gone to grab some macaroni and cheese. I mean, in this situation, I think I'd rather be Jonah eating instead of doing any exercise. So, tag yourself. Who are you? I've just realised how funny it is actually that we have Daniel here like doing some working out. He's like big into it lately, and then he also has a literal picture of donuts. So Now's kind of suggesting this idea to Jonah now, like being like, "Oh, we should all go out and get some food or something. That could be really fun to get to know each other." And Jonah's kind of like laughing along with it, but he's thinking, well, maybe, can't we all just stay in? We literally have like a bar right over there. I'm good at making drinks up and stuff like that. Why don't I just make something here? I'd feel a lot more comfortable if we just stayed at home for a bit. It's nice here. It's not so bad. I don't know why we feel the need to go outside when we have a nice, comfortable, relaxing home here. And again, Now's kind of probably wondering why, but she has Daniel here to be like, look, let's not push anything with anyone. We can just stay here, have a drink. That's fine. Obviously, a bit deflated by it. But Now's like, oh, okay, and another time then. So now Jonah's just kind of getting on, making some drinks for everyone. Just quietly to himself, a bit contemplative, I guess. Everyone else, I think, still just chatting in the living room. Now's probably being like, that Jonah's being a bit weird again, like, where's all this stuff? And he doesn't want to go out for a drink anywhere. We're just going to have to stay here now. So, people are strange. Kai doesn't want to talk about his past or anything. I'm possessing toilets. We're all weird. What's going on? Oh, Valerie actually feels inspired by Nell's presence, which is kind of wholesome in a way, and it's actually cheered her up talking to Nell. So that's very nice. I mean, those two have known each other the longest out of everyone in this group, so it makes sense that they'd probably be quite close, and Nell can cheer Valerie up whenever she needs it. And I feel like, just like Daniel seems to be doing, I imagine Valerie's very good at kind of grounding Nell and being like, look, let's just think about all the different perspectives of everyone here. So after hearing about Nell, being like, oh, Kai's kind of keeping things to himself still. He's been here a little while now. I feel like he'd open up a bit more. I think Valerie's just checking on him. She knows what it's like, I think, to kind of not be in the mood to share. And, she prefers being alone a lot of the time. But I feel like she does have a soft spot for Kai. I feel like she kind of sees him as like a son in a way. She's never actually had any kids, Valerie. Her life's been a bit busy for that. She always wanted them, but she never actually got around to having any. She never really met anyone special, sadly. So that's probably another reason she's been quite distant from people. She's never actually really practiced forming proper bonds with that many people. At a push, I guess you could say Nell is like the one person she's gotten quite close to, but anyone else, maybe not so much. But she's just kind of reminding Kyle, Nell is Nell. She's just kind of inquisitive. She'll get over it if you don't want to share anything with her. I kind of understand wanting to be isolated and wanting to keep things to yourself. Kai is also playing Sims. Damn, very popular game. Although now Nell's feeling all yellow and sad and tense is what that colour represents. I think she's just desperate and a bit kind of frustrated that she's finally gotten more people to get to know, which she's wanted for ages. But none of them are really opening up that much. I think that's kind of frustrating to her. But, I think part of her, especially with these two kind of guiding her along and kind of keeping her grounded, she understands that she doesn't have any right to their past if they're not willing to share things. But I think her intense curiosity and not getting answers to that, I think, is quite frustrating for her. Just because she knows so little about people and the world, the fact that she's still not getting answers is probably, kind of infuriating for her. But again, she'll get over it. I think it's just the fact that she's been a ghost for so long. I think she's just a bit naive to the world and how people are, because she's just never really had that experience, sadly. But I think in time she can learn, and in time maybe wounds will open up and sharing about them can heal them, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. But Jonah's still kind of working on drinks for everyone. He's like, see, this is much better than just going out. I can guarantee that I'm making something well prepared in a decent environment. It's all going to be clean and hygienic. Everything's going to be really cool. And, it'll be fine. Once you've tasted this, you'll completely forget that we're still just in this house. Which, by the way, have I mentioned, is lovely. And we should just stay here forever. Well, see, there you go. That's actually, I think, seeing Jonah being so excited about that has actually cheered Nell up again. So she just kind of feeds off of the enthusiasm of others, I think, and I assume she feels like that's making progress if she can, you know, see people get as enthusiastic about things as she is. Kai is also keeping himself to himself, and I think it's absolutely hilarious that he's freshening himself up in the mirror, but because he's a vampire, he doesn't have a reflection. So I'm not quite sure what he's trying to achieve here. Oh, and this might be another reason he likes being in Daniel's room. He's an art lover, so he probably appreciates all these paintings and stuff that are in Daniel's room. That's probably another reason why he actually likes spending time there, as well as the new equipment and everything. Well, Valerie's feeling kind of sad again and down, so she's probably playing more Sims. Yes, she is. Fair enough. I mean, who am I to judge? Okay, Daniel's just gotten a call, and it's actually Vlad, the head honcho vampire guy who sent him on the mission to find Kai in the first place. He's kind of saying, I want some updates. If you don't mind, come to my house as soon as possible. Daniel's like, well, you know, we're kind of all getting to know each other here, and James made us all drinks and stuff. We're going to just kind of go through all the cocktails he's made. And Vlad's like, yeah, it wasn't actually a request, I was just being polite, so get here now, please. So I guess he needs to make up his excuses and go and visit Vlad. So Vlad's like, okay, I want some details about Kai. He's obviously told me that he's around and everything, but he still hasn't given me any more answers to the questions that I have for him. And I think Vlad's kind of quite annoyed by perhaps the disrespect he feels like Kai is showing him by not just answering his questions and giving him all these details about his life. She was kind of saying, well, that's why I came to you. You know, you instructed to find him. And even that you kind of failed in because he ended up presenting himself to me anyway. So the least you could do really is give me some answers about Kai and tell me what you know about him. And Daniel's kind of going to have to admit, like, well, I probably know about as much as you do. He seems kind of reluctant to share a lot of this kind of stuff. And completely ruining my vision by kicking soccer ball around, and you're going to disappear, which is fine. Good old Sims storytelling. Okay, we've actually found where Vlad kind of rests, I guess. There's loads of coffins down here, but only one vampire. So I imagine lots more vampires owned this house way back when, but Vlad's the only one who lives here now. But he's kind of been there down here to continue the conversation, I guess. But yeah, he's just like, well, Kai, you know, he seems a bit like a closed book, not really sharing anything, you know. We know his name. He's about 120. He said he's been turned in like his mid-20s. But outside of that, nothing else. And Vlad's like, that's all he's told you. Daniel's like, well, yeah, pretty much. Vlad's like, so he hasn't mentioned any like individuals in particular from his past. You know, for example, maybe has he mentioned someone called Katia? Daniel's like, no, that hasn't popped up, I don't think. Vlad's like, okay, interesting. You ask him about Katia and just see how he reacts. And with that, he just starts properly laying into the pipe organ and being like, okay, we're done now, bye. So I guess Daniel just needs to head home and be like, well, this was a fun chat. Thanks for not much, really. Okay, I feel like the first thing Daniel would actually do would be to talk to Valerie about this, because, you know, he knows, you know, Valerie's probably, out of everyone, knows Kai the best, because he has been around this house for a little while now. I like that they're at a place where they can hug already. He's like, I want to talk to you about something. I actually just been summoned by Vlad the vampire, and he told me to ask Kai about someone called Katia, and I'm just wondering if he's mentioned that to you, because I don't know if this is something we should really bring to him. Vlad seems to kind of take some kind of glee in the fact that he knew about this person. Valerie's like, I don't know a lot about Kai. You know, I know we get along. I know he's nice. I know he tries not to drink from actual humans anymore. He's kind of just getting by on plasma packs, which is good. That's kind of what I wanted from him. But I haven't really heard him talk about anyone in particular. So how the hell did Vlad even know about this person? And I think Daniel probably has the same question. I suppose the only way he can get some answers about it is if he actually talks to Kai himself about it. Daniel's going to go probably get some more mac and cheese to pretend like, oh, I'm just gonna have some for myself, and then, oh, I know, I'll get a plate for Kai, and then that can be a conversation starter. So he's like, okay, I got you some food. I didn't know if you were hungry or not. And he's like, I'm a vampire. I don't eat human food. It makes me sick. And Daniel's like, oh yeah, my bad, sorry. Anyway, Vlad kind of mentioned something. He told me to bring it to you. Don't know if I should, but I guess I'm in the middle of the sentence now, so we might as well go with it. Does the name Katia ring any bells? He kind of wanted me to ask you about them. Kai's like, don't you dare say that name to me ever again. And without another word, he's just kind of... I guess it's the quickest way of getting away and making a dramatic exit. He's just like, right, gonna sleep in my coffin, you can go away now. So Daniel's like, well, that could have gone better. And actually, I've just realised how late it's gotten. It's 1 a.m, so we need to get everyone to bed. Even Nell's actually gone into this bed here, so that shows what an exhausting day it's been for everyone. So I think Daniel feels a bit bad about leaving things like that with Kai and having to sleep on it. But maybe when they all wake up fresh the next morning, he can find a way to apologise. Clearly that was a sore spot for Kai. But regardless, the name had an effect on him. So it must be something that Kai remembers, if nothing else. Okay, early the next morning, Daniel didn't really get a particularly good sleep. He's just going for kind of a jog around the area, wondering how he can kind of make things up to Kai. If he can. I think he knew he probably shouldn't have brought up the name Katia to her because it comes from Vlad. And he's never exactly got a particularly nice vibe from the guy. Some kind of shadiness there. But again, just like with Nell, I guess, the curiosity got a bit too much for him. And I think Daniel he's kicking himself for that more than anything, because he's like, oh, I'm the one who's been telling Nell not to dig too much into, people right now, like Kai and Jonah, who clearly don't want to share things. And yet I, completely disregarded that own advice I was giving to her. So I feel like, in a way, he's understanding Nell a bit more, even so, with that. But as he's jogging, he actually did spot this little, lovely little area over here, actually. Apart from the grave that's here, which I've only just noticed, maybe not such a nice spot after all. But, there's a little waterfall and everything, and it's right next to the house. And there's actually a nice fishing spot here. So I think he's going to try and make it up to Kai today and invite him fishing and hope they can talk things out. So Daniel's just saying, look, I'm sorry about last night. I know I shouldn't have pushed it. I know Vlad was probably trying to press your buttons. I think he's kind of a bit angry that you haven't shared much with him. And look, there's a fishing spot over there. I've kind of been interested in picking up even more new hobbies now that I live here. It'd be good to kind of get away, clear our heads, and just something that I can try and make up to you. And I think Kai's kind of reluctant. He's like, well, I'm not a big fisher, but I guess if it gets us out of the house, that'll be something, I suppose. So they've done a bit of fishing, and Kai's like, Daniel, I've just realised this probably isn't the best idea. We should probably head home. Daniel's like, why? And he's like, well, turns out it's quite a sunny day today. I'm burning up, so I think we should probably get home. Daniel's like, well, I caught a fish, so yeah, sorry, this was probably my bad. Again, let's get you back before you burn to death. So Kai's kind of saying, look, I guess it's out there now. I don't know how Vlad knows about her. I guess I'm going to be talking to him about that fairly bloody soon. And then we're just going to wait for Jonah to kind of grab some food or whatever he's here for and leave, because this isn't a conversation he wants to share with anyone just yet. And he's kind of like, well, Katia was actually my first love and my only love. We were childhood sweethearts. We knew each other since we were really young. We hadn't really been with anyone else. We were together for decades. And then I was walking home one night. I got attacked by a vampire and turned. So, I didn't know what was happening. So I was very open with her about what was going on. And then as the transformation really took hold and I realised what I was, I kind of told her to just stay away because I feared kind of hurting her or anything. She was like, I'm sticking by you with this. We've always stood by each other. We're not going to let this kind of stop us. Like, she was really incredible about it. And we actually stayed together. I offered to actually turn her so she could have like eternal youth like I had. She said she didn't want that for herself. She loves that someone like him will be forever preserved by being a vampire forever and having that youthful appearance. But she didn't want that for herself. So we actually, she stayed by my side. We stayed together. I didn't really leave the house that much. She kind of got me everything I needed. She'd kind of buy stuff from the butchers for me, anything to get me by like that. Right until, she got older and older. She passed away of old age. Never, no matter how many times I pleaded with her to let me turn her so we could just stay together. She didn't want that for herself. So she kind of passed away. I was kind of left completely on my own, utterly heartbroken, devastated. And from that moment on, I kind of just left where we were living, shut myself away, made sure to remove any traces of myself as much as I could anyway, from books. And I kind of feared when the internet started happening and stuff like that, that someone would track me down. Ultimately that did end up happening, but there's nothing he could really have done about that. So he tried to keep himself to himself, move from different place to different place when people realised he wasn't aging. Not really interacting with anyone, because last time I did that with Katya, she grew old and died, and I was on my own. It was horrendous, and I never wanted that ever again for myself. So I kind of just swore to not really get to know people, not get close to people. I just couldn't go through what I went through losing Katya again. And then, more and more years passed. I kind of was starting to really get lonely. And I thought, you know what, why don't I have people around, but I just don't get attached to them. So there's still like a presence. I'm not alone, even if I am kind of lonely. I feel like that's two different things. So I can have some people around me, even if I try not to get too attached to them. And I've been trying to do that. Don't know if that's necessarily working for me, but it's been so long since I really cared about anyone. I don't really mind. I want to have people around me that I can care about, even if they could cause me pain one day, because they'll leave me on my own, and I'll just go through the pain of losing people I care about all over again. So I guess I just need to hope that, knowing you guys doesn't cause that pain to utterly destroy me like it did when I lost Katya, and maybe it will be worth it this time to have something. Nellie's listening in on this. They can't see her. She's made sure she's chosen that they can't see her in this moment, so she is kind of listening in. And yeah, he also mentioned that the worst part of everything with Katya is that it's been so long since she passed away now, years and years, and all those years isolated and lonely. He doesn't even remember what she looked like. He doesn't remember what she sounds like. He just kind of knows that she was there from the hole in his heart that she left when she died. He doesn't know what he's mourning, even all these years later. And now kind of quietly approached him after he was finished talking to Daniel, being like, I know I probably shouldn't have overheard that, but I did. And I guess I realised that I was wrong to have demanded so much from you and Jonah about your pasts. I'm really sorry. I realised that was an awful thing that you had to go through, losing someone. But she's like, well, we're friends, aren't we? And he's like, well, yeah, of course we are. And I was like, well, you're kind of scared that you're going to be all on your own and all these guys maybe pass on one day. But you're kind of here forever. You're kind of ageless, immortal, and in a way so am I. So no matter what, you're always going to have me. We'll always have each other one day. And I hope that's not really a bad thing, but I just want you to know that no matter what happens, you're not going to be on your own ever again. I'll be here for you. And Kai actually really appreciated that. He was like, I hadn't even thought of it that way, but I guess you're right. So thank you for that. I guess I shouldn't really be scared of being alone, or maybe even finding someone else one day. And I was like, well, if I weren't dead, I'd date you. Which I think Kai found quite funny and quite sweet. So he appreciates that. And he's feeling confident and a deep connection he just felt from talking to Nell. Knowing that I guess those two will, always be around each other. They can always have each other, even if the rest of these guys pass on one day. And I think that conversation with her really meant a great deal to him. So he's definitely in a much better mindset after opening up about everything with Katya. He's still very angry at Vlad for somehow working this out and finding out about her. He's wondering how he knows that. He's going to confront him about it when the time comes. But for now, I think he appreciates the comfort that Daniel and Nell both brought to him. And for the first time, he's actually enjoying kind of cleaning up a puddle that Nell left, because he's like, well, this is kind of a sign of someone that I can have in my life forever, no matter what. And I think that thought really cheers him up. There's always going to be someone around now that he never has to lose. Which is, I feel like in a way that could close up a bit of the pain he was feeling over losing Katya and not really remembering her. With Nell, there's someone he can always remember and always cherish. So he's actually looking forward to getting to know her even better, and the rest of these guys, because even if he does lose them one day, he's going to have someone to share that pain with, hopefully. So yeah, he's definitely a better mindset than he was. It seems, again, after talking to Nell, Valerie also has a deep connection to her and is inspired from talking to a ghost. So it seems like Nell just has a very positive influence on these guys in particular today. And with some, heavy hearts maybe slightly lighter now, some broken hearts slightly letting the light in as opposed to the darkness, I guess we can call it a day on a big episode for old Kai here. And I think he's just kind of saying, Nell, she's a really special person. I can see why you two have actually been friends for so long, and why of everyone you opened up to and actually got to know it was her. And again, Nell didn't let Kai know that she was there listening to that, but she's very happy about it, that's for sure. And she's kind of sharing that sentiment with Valerie. And Valerie can just kind of say, for someone who hasn't really met that many people, you do seem to have a good influence on us. And I think that's another very happy thought that Nell is going to kind of carry with her for a long time. And with that is going to be everything for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. It's kind of a different, more like story-driven thing that I want to do with this series. Obviously, we kind of got a lot about Kai in this one. Not everything, I'm sure, but there's plenty of time for all of that. I kind of want to do a different episode, kind of really focuses on a different character, and, learning a bit more about them, as opposed to just seeing what happened in previous Sim series. I feel like it's good to make sure that every character gets their time to shine. So yeah, a lot of healing I think Kai needs to do, but I think this episode really opening up about something that he does remember that still really hurt him can set him on a decent path, hopefully. Well, he's very confident about it now anyway. He also won a chess match, so good for him. And yeah, Daniel's just kind of come up to him now saying, look, are we good? I won't tell anyone about Katya and everything, but it sounds like she was a really special person, and I can see why you maybe turned away from people after you lost her. And I think Kai's just saying, well, I think I can start to heal from that now maybe, and just enjoy the people that I have around me now, because I think everyone here is going to be really important to me. So with that, I think we are going to call it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching, and let me know who you think the next one could be focusing on, what secrets are still yet to be revealed about all these guys as these two friends get to know each other even better. Lots of fun, interesting things to come with these guys. But yeah, that is going to be everything for this episode, and until next time, thanks for watching.